Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to be detectives. We're on a mission to figure out something that sounds simple but is actually pretty complex. How do we really know what happened in our own recent past? We're going to hunt for the clues that tell the story of modern history. So where do we even start looking? Let's dive in.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. When we learn about the post-independence era, it's not like we're just reading a made-up story. We're looking at actual evidence. But what is that evidence? Where are the fingerprints that history leaves behind for us to find? Well, that's exactly the mystery we're cracking today.
You know, every good detective has a toolkit, right? Well, historians are no different. To piece together the giant puzzle of the past, they rely on four main types of sources, or as I like to call them, clues. And here they are, the four big categories in our detective kit: written sources, material sources, oral sources, and audio-visual sources. And you know what's so cool about studying modern history? It's the incredible variety of clues we have in each of these buckets. It gives us a way richer and more detailed picture of what life was actually like. Okay, first up, let's investigate the classic form of evidence, the written record. This is, everything from official government papers to super personal letters, all captured on paper. And check out the variety here. You've got newspapers telling you what happened day to day. Then you have personal diaries giving you this raw, unfiltered peek into someone's actual life. You've got the big official government stuff. And then, get this, even something as tiny as a postage stamp can tell a huge story about a country's heroes and its values. This is such a powerful idea. Think about it. In the years between 1961 and 2000, long before the internet was a thing, newspapers were how almost everyone got their information. And they weren't just about politics. They covered art, sports, culture. Basically, they give us this amazing snapshot of daily life. But you might be wondering, where did all these newspapers get their info? Well, a ton of it came from agencies like the Press Trust of India, or PTI. Think of them like a news factory, sending out verified articles and photos to newspapers all across the country. And when they started using satellite tech in the 90s, whoa, that was a total game changer. It makes them a super important source for understanding modern India. And where do all the really important official documents finally end up? In places just like this. The National Archives is basically a treasure chest for historians. It's the central vault that carefully protects the raw materials of our nation's story. All right, let's switch gears and move to our next set of clues, the ones you can actually hold in your hand. We're talking about physical objects that have survived through the years. And trust me, each one has a story to tell, if you know how to look. Just take a look at these coins. They might seem like, simple, everyday things. But for a historian, oh man, they are packed with information. The Reserve Bank of India, which makes them, is basically creating tiny historical records out of metal. So what can one little coin actually tell us? A whole lot, it turns out. The type of metal can give us hints about the economy at the time. But the real story is in the pictures. The symbols on a coin tell us what society cared about. They could even carry urgent messages from the government, like about population control or how important farming was to the nation. It just goes to show how even the smallest objects can be the biggest clues. And of course, museums are like the ultimate trophy cases for all of our historical clues. They gather all these physical sources, from coins to clothes, and they put them together in a way that helps us understand the story of a specific time and place. Okay, now for our last two categories of clues, and these are the ones that really bring history to life. I'm talking about sound and moving pictures. Let's see how these help us build an even more dynamic picture of the past. So, what's the big difference between these two? Well, oral sources are traditions passed down from person to person. They're full of emotion, like the powerful folk songs from activists during the Sanyukta Maharashtra movement. Audiovisual sources, on the other hand, are captured by technology, films, TV, and now the internet. They give us a direct window into the actual sights and sounds of the past. And institutions like the Film and Television Institute of India, or FTI, played a massive role here. They created newsreels and documentaries on everything from politics to social issues, creating this incredible visual library of modern Indian history that we can still study today. So we've looked at all these traditional sources, but what about the history that's being made right now, as we speak? Things are changing so fast that the very idea of a historical clue is evolving, and that creates a whole new challenge for the historians of the future. I mean, just think how quickly things have changed in our own lifetimes. We went from landlines to pagers, which, remember those? They were gone almost as fast as they showed up. And now to the internet and smartphones. The amount of information out there right now is just staggering. But that creates its own kind of problem. And honestly, this might be the most important takeaway for any modern student of history. With so much information flooding the internet, the real detective work is about verification. We can't just take what we see at face value. We have to constantly question if it's true, if it's authentic. So, I'll leave you with this one last thought. Every photo you post, every text you send, every video you make, that's a potential historical source. You, right now, are creating the historical record of the 21st century. So, what story will it tell future historians about our times? I really hope this detective's guide was useful for you. If you're looking for more clear, focused explainers just like this one to help with your Class 9 studies, make sure you find and subscribe to the A1 Institute YouTube channel. Thanks for joining the investigation.